everyone. Hi, Joe. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Are you prepared for tomorrow's election? Let's turn up the volume here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What times we live in. So I'm just gonna wait and see if more people show up. If not, I'm just gonna talk because people show up for the recording, and understandably that people are busy away voting and maybe getting their lives prepared for maybe a possible fallout tomorrow from tomorrow's election. So, I'm taking a chance making a video today, but it's all good. You're doing okay. Oh, sure, we can touch base. We can talk for a little bit. Absolutely. So, oh, my goodness. Hi, nice to see you. Welcome, come on in, sit down, take a seat. And thanks for the likes. Excuse me. So maybe somebody poked their head in and decided, nah, this isn't for me. That's fine. That's fine. We're just getting started. It's okay. It's okay. Love to that person. Love to you all. And may the grace of the Lord be with you always. That's what we need to feel God's grace. And we have it, but we don't recognize God's grace because we're surrounded by, well, what is the opposite of grace? Judgment. We are surrounded by judgment and we judge ourselves. And that is what I'm convinced of. That's why it takes healing from narcissism so long. Excuse me, as we continue to judge ourselves, we continue to rake ourselves over the coals and blame ourselves. And we unknowingly do exactly what the narcissist wants. Their agenda is not to get involved with us in a relationship. Their agenda is to see us fall after the breakdown of the relationship. That's the motive. Hi, Marlene. Nice to see you. Welcome. How are you doing? For those of you who are in the United States, well, we know what's just around the corner tomorrow, actually. And, I kind of want to know your thoughts. I've been thinking maybe of doing a video tonight. Tonight's live at 10. Just coming together and maybe just talking it out and sharing our feelings. Not on a political front. I'm Canadian. I don't really follow a lot of politics. However, I do follow what is on the sidelines, hiding behind the politics. And I myself was thinking about this because Canada is going through our own, problems with our own government. And I was thinking, somebody said on Twitter something about, an abuse of power and how they're using our money for an abuse of power. And something clicked in me, and it's like this. That we, the people, are supposed to be, the boss of the government. But it's the taxes that allow us to be subservient, as we don't ask. We don't get to vote on the taxes. We don't get to have a say on carbon tax and this school tax and this road tax and taxing our food sources and taxing our water, taxing our, heat and our utilities. They're taxing us based on consumption, and they're providing methods of and means of consumption for us, and we're really taking a hit. Marlene says, I feel really bad for the Native Indians. Yeah. About 10 years ago, Canada here gave a a lump sum of money to all the native reserves. And the chiefs got the lump sum, and it was the chiefs' responsibility to dole it out to their citizens on the reserves. And what happened with one in particular, one chief took all that money and bought and sold a type of drug that starts with C and ends in ane. And yeah, he bought and sold drugs with it. And yeah, it was not good. It's not good. You know, there's so much going on in this world. And I just started thinking about this yesterday, that, you know, we pay the government in order to protect us and help delegate our needs and our rights. And the government has made rules on us that we shall not do certain things. And the Constitution isn't just for, the Canadian Constitution isn't just for, well, you know, every constitution, I guess. It's not just for the citizens to protect us from other citizens and protect us from ourselves. Excuse me, the stupid decisions that we make. But this Constitution is to protect us against the government, as the government is held by these same laws as us. And now they have gained so much money and so much clout and power that they have used the laws against us to subdue us so that we will not fight against the government. So we're seeing what happens when people rely on other people for their rulership and dismiss God. And you know, that's exactly what happens in a narcissistic relationship. Governmental officials are narcissists. You can't argue with me on that one. Hi everybody, it's nice to see you. Welcome. You really can't argue that the government is a group of narcissists and they're all banding together and they're stroking each other's egos, right? And they lie to us through propaganda. And we are seeing on a large scale, excuse me, what that has done. We have seen people who rely so much on the news and rely so much on the government for support that they have given their allegiance, their life's blood, their soul. They don't recognize that they are soul tied to the narcissist in the governmental faction. And we who are in society, the citizens who are ruled by the government, are divided because we are seeing those who follow the government and those who don't. Those who have been brainwashed to the point that it is no longer curable. They have become the flying monkeys of the government. Their hearts have hardened against citizens. Their hearts have hardened against themselves. Their hearts have hardened against God. And there is no chance for them to change back into who they were before the narcissistic governmental factions have gotten their claws into them. You know those people. The people who you can't talk common sense to. The people who don't understand metaphors, and so you can't show your poetry and your love language to them. They stomp all over it. They're the pearl, or excuse me, they're the swines. You're the pearl. They're the swines that God warns us about. Don't throw your pearl, you, before swine. Because what do pigs do? They trample all over their food Doesn't matter if it's on the dirt, in the mud, in the water, whatever. They'll snuffle that food and trample it and, make a mash out of it, and it smells like food, and they'll gobble it up. And they eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Why does God tell us to not throw our pearl before swine? Because pigs eat and eat and eat. It's almost like they don't know how to stop. And they don't regurgitate. They can't throw up and vomit. So they can become sick and die, bloated and die. And did you know that the government scientists were experimenting on pigs because pigs eat so much and they defecate so much that they were trying to make a GMO pig to not defecate so much, even though it eats so much. So, understanding what you're seeing out in this world, out in your own social circles, out in your own families, out in your own environment of interacting with people, we're all being victimized, targeted by narcissists. It's no longer just in our family setting. It's no longer with our besties and our group of friends at school. It's no longer with our lover or our boyfriend and girlfriend or spouse or even our children. No, it's extension. This is worldwide now. And it started a long, long time ago. And many of us still do not see it or still don't want to admit it. But when you look at a narcissistic relationship, we've taught you on this channel and other channels like this, and psychology has warned you that a narcissist cannot change. And that is a hard pill to swallow when you're thinking about, your kids, your spouse, your mom and dad, your brother and sister, your family, your extended family. It's like, but I love them. Love doesn't change it. If love changed narcissism, then Jesus would, show his love, and he did. He showed the ultimate sacrifice of love on the cross, and that still didn't change the Romans' heart. That didn't change the Pharisee and Sadducees' heart. That didn't, Judas knew what was going to happen to Jesus. He knew, because Jesus told him and the rest of the disciples. And if love changed a narcissist's heart, then Jesus wouldn't have been put on to death on the cross. Or the cross of Christ would have, just supernaturally changed the whole world, and the light of God, the Holy Spirit, would have shone down on everybody and entered into everybody. But no. Love has to be invited. You have to invite love into your heart. And the narcissist doesn't invite love from you, from Christ, from anybody, not even the love of animals. No, they just see, the dog's love as loyalty, because I feed you and take you for walks and take you outside. So yeah, you're loyal to me. That's why narcissists have animals, because it's the ultimate authority of getting somebody's loyalty. They can't recognize a domesticated animal's affection as love. Oh my gosh, what's my thoughts on the Big Bang Theory? I'll say this, everyone is you pushed out. So yeah, the Big Bang Theory is possible. But not in the way that we think. Not in the way the scientists think. God spoke with the command of his voice. So everything that was in here, as we are a thought in God's mind, everything that was in here was churning in his heart. And Jesus said, what comes out of your mouth comes from your heart. So everything that God created came from his heart, came from his own being. And it just appears like the Big Bang Theory is like just from one molecule explodes into, an infinitesimal amount of particles. No. The one who created all of this still exists. Scientists just can't see him. And for 7 days, God created. So for 7 days, things came out of him that manifested into life, into reality. And then on the 7th day, he rested. The person I know does not like animals. She wants dedicated devotion in another way. Yeah, because she sees that you're dedicated in devotion to your animal, and she wants you to give that your all to her, to that person. That's the way narcissists are. And see, a narcissist will abuse animals. They will not just abuse animals. They'll be nice, but maybe offstandish in front of you with that animal, but when your back is turned and when you leave the animal alone with that person, look out. Excuse me, and I'm speaking from first-hand experience and from second-hand experience, as I had a best friend and her husband, it can't be proven, but it is a high possibility that he unalived a pet squirrel that she was taking care of, she was feeding, and also unalived her dog. There was rat poison found in the garage that was never used, and the dog started suffering from seizures, and rat poison causes seizures in dogs. She never got the dog tested for any poisons or anything because she couldn't afford it at the time, but there's suspicion. So, and for me, yeah, there's now that I think about it, I've left my dogs in my ex's care, and my chihuahua almost died, almost became paralyzed. Because my ex was sleeping on the couch. He fell asleep on the couch, and my chihuahua fell asleep on his, on his body somewhere, and the ex moved around, and the chihuahua fell in between the couch and the cushions, and my dog, I don't know if he was struggling or whatever, but he was just stuck there. And so the ex got up out of the couch, off the couch, and I'm like, where's Copper? And he's like, oh, he's sleeping on the couch. And I'm like, what? He's still there? It's been a while. So I look, and there's Copper, my chihuahua, sandwiched in between the cushion and the couch. And it was not just the cushion and the back of the couch. He was actually sandwiched in between the back of the couch and that spring layer that that supports the cushions, well, that had been pushed down and his body got wedged in behind the spring, and it was cutting off his, cutting off his midsection. So when I got him free, and he couldn't walk for about an hour, I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's like acting like he's paralyzed. We need to take him to the vet. Oh my gosh, what happened? What did you do? I was just like freaking out. So narcissists are not mindful of pets. They're not mindful of animals. They will accidentally. I was taking care of a pet bird. Well, not a pet bird, excuse me, a robin. And it was like a 2-3 week old robin. And I was going out in my backyard digging up worms and cutting them up into small pieces so that this bird, because you don't want to feed a big long worm to this bird. You got to feed it in pieces. Mothers are nurturing like that. People are nurturing like that. Well, I didn't want to take this bird with me on a long drive because I didn't want to stress it out. So I just said, okay, I fed the bird. It will be fine until I get back. Well, when I got home, my ex is like, I did a really good thing for you. I was helping you out. I'm like, what'd you do? He goes, I fed the bird for you. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And I thought nothing of it. And I go to check on the bird and the bird's dead. I'm like, what did you do? Oh, I went in the backyard and I found him a big, long worm like this and I fed it to him. I'm like, you just killed the poor thing. No, I didn't. I'm like, he's gone. Well, it wasn't for me. And he would deny. The poor thing choked to death. So I'm telling you, you cannot trust your animals. You cannot trust yourself with the narcissist. So why would you trust your animal with the narcissist? So today's title is The Narcissist Doesn't Set You Free. You set yourself free. And you set yourself free with God's help. That's the only way you can be set free. And how you are set free is you face that cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Hi. Oh, I've been thinking about you, Keith. Where have you been? How you doing? Wow, it's been a while. It's been a few days. It hasn't been a while. It's just been a few days. But I hope you're doing well. I hope Connie's doing well. So it's nice to see you. Enjoy your lunch. So, understanding cognitive dissonance, it's learning something that goes against your belief system, that goes against what you know to be true. And that information that makes you feel comfortable, many people dismiss it. Many people, fight cognitive fight the truth that they're being told because it doesn't fit with their own narrative, their own belief system. Just spending time unplugged with the wife mostly. Aw, that's so beautiful. That's awesome. Give her our warm hugs. Oh, wow. That's so good. You guys take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. So, but, narcissists, they have this natural cognitive dissonance where, how they can't change, right? They can't change. And so they're stuck in the past. And so they bring the past into the narrative of the past, into the here and now, into the present. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. And they try to jam a square peg in a round hole to make it fit. And so they have to lie. They have to cheat. They have to steal. They have to scheme. And if you're in the narcissist's life, when they do this, you're going to take the hit. You're going to take the fallout. And what ends up happening is their cognitive dissonance rubs on you as because something bad happens to you, you then believe it's your fault, and the narcissist reinforces that by blaming you and saying, it's your fault. I wouldn't have done this, and this wouldn't have happened if you would have just listened to me. And that's the cognitive dissonance that we face. The ultimate cognitive dissonance that we are challenged with on our own is that we are unworthy, that we don't matter. We're meant to suffer. No, you are not meant to suffer. You are only meant to suffer for a little while, because suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character. So how long you want to suffer is now dependent on you. Your character is established. Excuse me. Your character is always evolving, always changing. It's your ego that doesn't want to change. And your ego is stuck and rooted in the past, trying to make the past fit in with this here and now. And it doesn't. And that's what we're wrestling with. We call it trauma, but it's really cognitive dissonance, because you know deep down in the heart of things, your truth tells you that you are worthy because Jesus is in you. So yes, you are worthy. No, you're not meant to suffer. Jesus says, or God says, that he doesn't want us to live in lack. A lack of relationships, a lack of money, a lack of abundance and health and longevity. He doesn't want us to suffer in our health. He doesn't want us to suffer scraping, making ends meet and trying to get by and trying to scrape 2 pennies together to just get some food. And we say, well, I'm not capable of achieving that in my life, so I guess, well, no, you're not. None of us are capable of achieving any greatness in our lives. It's God that does. God who works through us, and we have to be submissive to the Spirit of God leading, guiding, and teaching us. But it's the cognitive dissonance. That's the barrier. That's I'll call it the veil. The veil called cognitive dissonance that separates your will, from the will of your ego. And dang, it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable when you face yourself. It's uncomfortable when you face the narcissist. But if you can face the narcissist, you can face yourself. You truly can. You fought their cognitive dissonance with your own logic. And God says he confounds the minds of the proud. He confuses people on purpose. The people who chose to believe the government, the lies of the government, the propaganda, those people are now forever bound in their lies. The narcissist is forever bound in his lie. We have the power to bind and loosen, right? But it's binding and loosening ourselves. If we can't unbind ourselves from the cognitive dissonance, we can't unbind or loosen or bind anybody else. If you can't break free from your own narcissist in your own head called your ego, you cannot break free of the narcissist that's on the outside of you who is binding themselves to your ego. You have to loosen that, and you do. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of the narcissist ways, you start thinking for yourself. You start dissecting those gaslighting ways. You start dissecting the manipulation. You start really seeing, okay, this person said that they were downtown and they were window shopping and they found something that I would really like. And you don't think anything of it, but when you start thinking about it, Wait a minute, they were supposed to be at work. Why were they downtown? Why were they window shopping? Who were they with? And then suddenly start putting two together. No, they just mentioned that they saw something that they thought I would like to get me off of their scent trail, off the scent trail of why they were down there. But them telling on themselves actually is an anchor point and pinpoints and directs me to question, why were they downtown? They should have been at work in the office. That's an hour drive away from downtown. Why were they downtown? It's these little things, as you use your logic to poke holes in the things that they tell you or the things that they do. And then you're proven. Your logic is proven to be true. You are proven that the narcissist is not who they say they are. And that is what breaks through the cognitive dissonance of, oh, the narcissist loves me. The narcissist can do no wrong. The narcissist is protecting me. The narcissist really loves being in a relationship with me. If the narcissist really loved being in a relationship with you, they wouldn't be in a position where they're not supposed to be. They would be honest and upfront with you. They wouldn't hide and scheme and gaslight and say little things to alleviate their shame and alleviate their guilt of the crime that they committed. But these little things that they tell you, they're intending to tell you, so in attempts to not have you question, why were they downtown? When it all happened to me, I just didn't know how to detect their manipulation. Now I see it really clearly, Keith says. Yeah, exactly. And that's because it's the cognitive dissonance. When, the narcissist does something and you're like, they didn't mean it. That's your cognitive dissonance playing against your truth, your reality. You wouldn't put up with it when a friend, tries to punch your face, would you? You wouldn't put up with it and I'm sorry to be so graphic, and I mean no triggering at all, but seriously, when your best friend wants to fist fight with you, you're like, hey, something's off. No, I'm not doing that. No, and your best friend starts to fight with you, you're like, okay, I'm going to distance myself. Why can we do that with our friends? Why, when our friends go and shoplift at the local mall, and you're like, hey, I just saw you do something, that's a no-go for me. No, and you distance yourself from that person. Why can you do that with people? But when it comes to your family, your spouse, your kids, their family, man, no, they wouldn't do that to me. They wouldn't shoplift right in front of me. They wouldn't go and steal a car in front of me. They wouldn't steal that bike in front of me, would they? They wouldn't. I entrust my my brother, I trust my brother to babysit my kids. He wouldn't go and do a drug deal and leave my kids alone on their own for, a couple of hours at night, would he? No, he wouldn't do that, but he did. No, that's not my bro. Yeah, it is. We make excuses for people all the time because of cognitive dissonance. You know the truth, but the truth is you cannot let go. Why put your brother, and this is just an example, but why would you put your brother and excuse his drug dealing ways that would put your kids at harm's way? Why would you put your brother first before your own kids? You got to ask yourself that. There is some sort of need in you that needs to be fulfilled by your brother or your family that you didn't get from your mom and pops, that you're trying to get from your brother, and you definitely can't get that from your kids. being in love blinds us? No, love is not blind. Unconditional love is not blind. Unconditional love is protecting. Unconditional love allows you to see when someone is doing wrong, and you feel confident and secure in your relationship to go to that loved one in kindness and say, hey, what's going on? You've been at home for 3 days now. Is there something going on at work that you're scared to tell me? Come on, wife, I love you. We'll get through this together. Did you get fired from your job? Or husband, did you quit? Did you walk off the job? Or did your boss fire you? Or did you get a pink slip? Why are you home? Like, come on, this is me you're talking to. You know, couples who are in healthy relationships know how to communicate with each other. They know each other's love language. They know when there's a problem, and they know when and how to speak up and out about that problem and help each other through those problems. A narcissist just, nope, didn't happen. No, you're accusing me of getting fired from my job? How dare you? I've never been so insulted in my life. I just took a few days because I just needed a break. I'm not feeling good. Gee, can I? I never take a break. I've worked this job for 5 years, and I have never taken any holiday, and I have never taken any sick leave. So I'm taking 3 days of sick leave. Do I need to tell you? Are you my mother? Are you my parent? They freak out. They freak right out. Excuse me. Unhealthy love is a love that is controlling, that it is conditional. Well, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know, if you're asking me to look after the kids and come home after work tonight, then guess what, wifey? You owe me some personal time. However long I want, whenever I want, you owe me. Yeah, guys and women think like that. So you gotta have your cognitive dissonance challenged. And how it's challenged is, you know the truth. You know what you know, and you cannot be convinced differently. You can't. It's not even, it's a non-issue. You know what you know, like you know the back of your hand, and you cannot be moved from that knowing. And so that challenges the cognitive dissonance, that challenges, I'm kind of getting tired of walking on eggshells around here. I'm kind of, you know what, at the risk of being yelled at the risk of having another fight, I'm going to go and investigate. What's downtown? What's downtown? Maybe I'll just take the day off of work and go investigate when my husband says that he's got a poker game or he's got a meeting downtown somewhere. Maybe I'll just go follow him and check it out for myself. Or I'll hire a private investigator and check it out myself. And your cognitive dissonance is challenged. Your truth is set against the narcissist truth that they're saying, oh, I got a meeting downtown, I'll be home, late, so don't wait up and don't make dinner for me. And you get suspicious. And you go and prove your truth. And your truth holds water because you know your truth cannot be, it can't be changed. It can't be altered. You know what you know. You know if your spouse is cheating on you. You just know. But you need proof just to challenge that knowing, just to make sure. Because, it is possible people can make mistakes and accuse other people without any proof and make a real big mistake. So before you confront your spouse, you want to make sure you have proof. Okay. So you challenge your spouse, you find out the truth, you get the evidence, you present them with the truth, and they still say no. Really? You're gonna play that. That's your story and you're sticking to it. Like, are we kids here? Are we 7 years old? Like, how old are we? Well, the narcissist is a stunted child in an adult's body. Just remember that. Keith has said, I learned that being told as a child what I wanted wasn't important, and I was being selfish to have a want or a need to do something. Exactly. It was like I didn't have the right to have a need, so I suppressed them. Exactly. We grew up in an era where kids should be seen and not heard. And I'm still struggling with that. I'm going to be 52 this month. Shh. And, I still struggle with, I don't really need that. I've gone without it for so long. I don't really need it. No, it's okay. I don't need it. But I do need it. And I'm suffering because I'm telling myself I don't need it. But I've suffered so long. Suffering isn't, I've just gotten used to it. How sick is that? I need to challenge my cognitive dissonance. Yeah, and when I see, and when you want something and you need something, and you've been conditioned to go without and suffer, as you've been conditioned to just deal with the suffering, and so it's not so bad, it toughens you up. We're taught that, suffering toughens you up, it makes you stronger. Well, yeah, it makes you stronger to withstand it, but it doesn't mean that there's anything good that's coming. You just accepting the suffering prolongs the suffering. It continues and continues and continues, and you get so used to it where you say, oh, I want those ruby slippers, Wizard of Oz. I want those ruby slippers, and you're just like, no, that's too much, because your suffering has had you go with little or less or without. And so those ruby slippers to you are like, winning the lottery. And it's like, no, I don't deserve those ruby slippers. I don't need them. I don't need them. I've gone without them for so long. I really don't need them. And then you picture yourself, you dare to dream. What would it feel like to have those ruby slippers? Oh, I'd feel like a girl. I'd twirl around in my dress. I'd feel so feminine. I just feel like so beautiful. And it just feel like, oh, wow. And then your cognitive dissonance says, no, it's the wicked witch. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, Toto too. It's your ego chimes in and says, no, you don't need those ruby slippers, my dear. You don't need them. You've gone without. Let somebody else enjoy those ruby slippers, because you don't need them. Now, that's a blessing. Count yourself blessed. Oh my gosh. That's terrible and tragic, and that's what we all are facing. And Keith says our body tells us what we need. It's the getting over others' feelings that make you feel selfish or guilty. Oh, I got really happy when I started not caring what they thought. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, you have to stop caring about what your ego tells you. You have to tell it to F off. Frick off. Shut it down. I used to say that to my chihuahua. He would bark. He was just like, ruff, 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 ruff. a car would go by or a deer would be in the yard and he'd ruff, 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 ruff. And it would be like, first, like it was a warning, he'd get really yappy, like a high-pitched yay, and it's like, and then it's like, okay, they're noticing me, so now I can bark normally and be like, ruff, 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 ruff. And I'm like, it's okay, Copper, it's okay. Thanks for that warning. It's okay, all it's good. And then it's like, ruff. It's like, Copper, ruff, Copper, ruff. And then my other dog would move to the door, and then Copper would be like, ruff, 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 ruff. And so I'd be like looking at Copper, and I'd just be like, shut it down. And he'd be like, I'm just like, shut it down. All the time. That was what I would tell him, shut it down. And sometimes I would have to really bark back at him and yell at him like, enough, like, stop, you're obnoxious. And that's exactly what our ego is. It's the barking dog that won't shut up. And you have to do something about it. Wow, you guys have given me a lot to think about today. Wow, thank you so much. Oh, I feel like I've just been schooled. I love it. Oh, I got my homework to do tonight. Having that talk with my ego. This is how it is, and this is how it's gonna be. I want certain things in my life, and you're not going to stop me. Oh, we got to get tenacious like that. Oh, we got to get tenacious like that with the narcissist. We have to give them a warning. You continue this behavior, you are going to leave me with no choice but to leave the room, leave the relationship, pull back the contract, hire somebody else, fire their ASS, ground their butt if they're a child. You've got to think of the consequences that are appropriate for what they're doing against you, for the disrespect they are showing you. And the narcissist, they cannot respect you because they don't respect themselves. Makes sense, doesn't it? So the narcissist doesn't set you free. You set yourself free with God's help. Truth will always set you free. Truth doesn't come from you and your belief system. Truth comes from God. And you believe the truth or you don't. That's your choice to make. And when we're with the narcissist, whoever they may be to us, we always believe their voice. We always believe their word, right? But their actions don't follow their word. So their word means nothing. But because we want so desperately to be loved, as love gives our life meaning, that we're willing to just take bare minimum. Do you know unconditional love is not bare minimum? Do you guys know that? Unconditional love is always showing up for your as your best. Now, I'm talking about whereas God is concerned, okay? He shows up as who he is, always, at his best for us. He gives us his best based on what we are willing to acknowledge, what we're willing to understand. And he gives us the best of his truth, because the truth is the best. And so when you go into your healthy relationships, showing up as your best all the time, even when you're not feeling well, you always try to put on your best. You always try to do your best. Not try your best, you do your best in what you are capable of in that moment. You always give to people and the situation your best. It's like when you move. I was taught when you move or when you enter a situation, you always leave that situation better than when you came in, better than how it was when you arrived. You clean that house, you clean that place, and you make it better than when you arrived, for the other people, for the other guests, or whoever it is. You always leave somebody better than when they arrived. And I hope that that's what these videos do to you. Because I may not feel at my best, but when I start doing these videos, I shine the best that I can for you. I really do. And you guys show up for me too and give me your best. And I just want to say thank you for that. And that's what it's about. But the narcissist, they don't freaking care. They doll themselves up, and it's not about dressing up and looking the part. It's about shining your heart and giving somebody what you are able. Like Jesus says, give what you can. He doesn't say give so you suffer. Give what you can. Give what you're able. And the narcissist, well, they seem to give other people their best. And you get left without. That's because they disrespect you, because they're giving other people their best because they want something in return. But unconditional love is, I don't need anything in return. Seeing you joyful is joyful enough for me. That's the gift. Joy is the gift that keeps on giving. It truly is. It's like when you witness other people's joy, when they have their aha moment, when they get their blessing. Keith says, I always get a blessing. That is joyful, and that's worthy of celebration. We should champion other people's success, whatever it may be. And not worry about, I didn't get that blessing. No fair. Well, you know what? Life is a reflection of what you think about on the inside of you. And be joyful that someone is blessed, because you don't want them to suffer. Being joyful and receiving a blessing ends their suffering. Yay, God! What's wrong with that? What's wrong with seeing other people happy? Oh, the narcissist has something to say. I'll tell you that right now. They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you blessed. Because it just reinforces who they are and how they have to steal, destroy, and kill to get their blessing. They have to rob people in order to get their blessing, because who they are inside, they can't get God's attention. They can't change. They can't change who they are to receive God's blessings. They have to, that's what they're doing. Psychologist tells us, people who have studied psychology are telling us, the narcissist targets us. They target us and prey upon us, and, they need to take our fear, harvest our emotions. Well, yeah, that's part of it. But it's the narcissist cannot change. And they know that you can, and so they change you in attempts to get God to leave your temple so that you become like them, because they see, they may not know the blessings that are coming to you, but they know that you are under God's protection. They know that you have blessings coming to you. And they're jealous. It's not fair that you get a blessing and I get left out. Well, they made that choice. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe, well, you know what? God always gives us free will choice. So whether we're up in heaven and angels and God's thought or not, wherever we are before we come to earth, we have a choice. to follow God or not. And Keith says, with saying coming to you, your lives, I get a blessing. Amen. So do I. I always get blessed with you guys here showing up. I just thank you so much for saying that. And thank you so much for coming to these lives, because I walk away and you guys just light up my life. Like I'm just like so encouraged, and you guys give me something to think about every day. Like, whoa, I just like, my brain is expanding. Like, it's awesome. So understanding and getting past the hurt and the pain from narcissism, even if you're in a narcissistic relationship with your parents, your spouse, your children, a friend, a coworker, it doesn't really matter. You'll take it for as long as you take it until your cognitive dissonance, until the truth, that's the baseline of who you are, says enough is enough. I've put up with this enough. When are you going to see? The light inside of you says, no, we're done. Your soul says, no, I'm done. I'm done. I can't be the brunt of the narcissist's disrespect and their hate any longer. I'm done. And you're like, wait a minute, but I love him. No, that's coming from the ego. And Jesus himself said, those who cannot leave their mother and father, their brother and sister for me, their children for me, are not worthy of me. That means stop living as how they live and stop taking their abuse on you. Jesus took the abuse for everyone, so we don't have to sit there and take the abuse of the narcissist. We're not martyrs. We cannot change the narcissist. They have to want to change. You're a blessing to me too, Jill. And you're a blessing. You guys are all blessings to each other too. You guys make this channel what it is. So thank you so very much. You know, it's really amazing how when you start working on yourself and you start seeing who you really are, even when you see just a pale understanding, just a little bit of the truth of who you really are, that you are a good person, that you do matter, that you deserve every bit of joy and happiness and blessings in this world that this world can give you. Jesus himself said that everything in this world is ours. Yeah, he said that. He said that. And how we take that is to just open ourselves up to love. We've given the narcissist every ounce of our love, right? Itchy eye. We've given the narcissist every bit of our love and unconditional love, right? So if you can do that for a narcissist, and you who are not a narcissist, why do you not give yourself that kind of love in return? Why do you not show yourself unconditional love? Why not? Just a sec. There we go. Why do you not show yourself unconditional love? Why are you not nurturing yourself? And when you have a bad day or you know, mess up and something goes wrong, why? And I'm guilty for this. I've told you guys before, when something goes wrong in my life, I let it percolate, and then I just get mad at myself. But I'm learning and I'm growing, and why, when things go wrong, do we not give to ourselves, the love that we've given to the narcissist. When things go wrong with the when things go wrong with the narcissist, we say, it's all right, it's okay, it'll be fine. And it's almost like we wear armor. They treat us like garbage. You know, they treat us like scraped doo-doo off of somebody's shoe. And our armor of love says, no, we can take it. I got this. And we stifle back the tears and, no, they didn't mean it. Oh, no, I got this. I can do this. I can do this. I got this. I got this. I can do this. Why do we treat the narcissist better than we treat ourselves? Now that we have all this information, how we treat ourselves so differently from the narcissist is just an excuse at this point. It's because it's all we've ever known, and how do we change? You change by the renewing of your mind. Instead of saying, I can't do this, start saying, I can. That was one thing in homeschool I used to say to my daughter. You can. It was one thing I would always write on the chalkboard. I can. Because when you say I can't, that puts an automatic barrier. Your words are spells. Did you know that? God spoke the world into existence. He said, let there be. And there was. Let's make mankind in our own image. And he did it. Let there be a light, and there was light. Your words have the power of life and death in them. That's where the tongue is involved. The tongue has the power of life and death. Or how is it? Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Your tongue is a muscle. Your vocal cords are muscles. And your tongue helps shape the words with your lips. Do you know your lips are so, other than the sexual organs, your lips have so much feeling to them, like they are top sensitive. It's the most sensitive organ in your body, your lips, other than your sexual organs. Where does that sensitivity come from? It comes from energy. What science calls energy, God calls spirit. Your nervous system, the nerve endings in your lips are neurons, and neurons, we learned, was it last week? We learned that neurons are little packets of energy, light, that carry information. And your body is a sensory organ that, senses the spirit and helps to communicate the spirit's desires. Joe says, because we want acceptance, that's why we allow the narcissist to do what they want to do. Yeah, because we can't accept ourselves. Why can't we accept ourselves? Because we're ignoring ourselves, because we're more of a best friend to the narcissist than we are to ourselves. And so the mind speak that we have, we don't mind speak to other people. We voice speak to them. We use the power of our lips. We use the tongue. We use our voice box. We use our mind. We use our heart to invoke and say beautiful things to people who don't deserve it. as we offer them a non-judgmental attitude and love and kindness and mercy and compassion. I think we need to start speaking to ourselves. Instead of just mind speaking to ourselves, speak words and let your ears hear it. I love me. I love me. I am good. I am kind. I am compassionate. I am worthy. Speak to you as you would speak to your best friend who is mourning a loss and grieving their soul. Speak to yourself with kindness and compassion, because mind speak, it does work. We have to be mindful of the words that we speak to ourselves in our mind, that inner chatter. But we don't communicate to other people through telepathy. So I'm just speaking off the top of my head right now because this is making sense and I never thought of this before. That we give ourselves mind speak. We talk to ourselves in our head. We talk to other people from our head or our heart or both, but we communicate with other people and we talk to them using our voice. Sometimes you really do need to listen to the sound of your voice and listen to the words coming out of your mouth. And one of those times is start speaking to yourself audibly. Start speaking to yourself with a tone that is loving and kind and compassionate and honorable. Joe says, I don't want to be self-righteous. I always am self-animalizing. There's a difference between being self-indignant, righteously indignant, and righteously selfish or self-righteous. And here's the thing. God says, don't think of yourself more highly than you ought. We are allowed to think of ourselves highly, but not more highly than we should. So we have permission to think of ourselves as being righteous. I'm a sinner even though I'm righteous. I'm righteous even though I'm a sinner. And you are too. Why is that? Because Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and I believe in the cross. Without the cross of Christ, there would be no grace of God. There would be no afterlife. There would be no resurrection. There would be no forgiveness of sins. Yeah, and that's a good thing to consider your own actions, Joe. There's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to. That helps keeps us in check. But with the narcissist, do they consider their own actions? No, it's do or die for them. If I don't do this, I'm going to die. If I don't do this, I'm going to die. If I don't do this, I'm going to die. If I don't do this, they're going to hurt me. If I don't do this, they're going to hurt me. If I don't do this, they're going to hurt me. If I don't force them to do this, they're going to hurt me. If I don't force them, or if I force them to do this, they're going to hurt me. It's like they are always thinking about being hurt. They're always thinking about their survival. They are always thinking about how they can live in safety, in self-protection mode. They're the self-righteous a-holes of life. Pardon my French, but it's true. And I'm saying that without any judgment. That's just who they are. They're just being who they are. And they will never protect us. We have to learn how to protect ourselves in a relationship with any narcissist. We have to save ourselves. We're in a sinking ship with the narcissist, and we have to learn the truth in order to save us. Do you know what SOS stands for? Save ourselves. SOS. Your soul is putting out a life preserver, you know, those little rings. Your soul is throwing out a preserver every time you get triggered, every time the narcissist does something wrong against you, and you react to that in panic or fear. That is your soul saying, this fear is not normal. Somebody who loves you would not give you fear. Somebody who loves you would not cause you to hate yourself or blame yourself or cause you to feel bad and feel shame and hurt. Someone who loves you would refuse to say, tell you to take the blame. Someone who loves you would refuse to allow you to blame yourself. If you are not guilty, even if you were guilty, you know, the person who loves you would say, well, I'm sure you had your reasons. But a narcissist, if you freely take the blame, oh, that's what they want. When you say, oh, I messed up, it's my fault, they'll hang that over your head forever. Well, you did say it was your fault. You can't recant now because, you know, that happened like months ago, and, you know, I'm just, because you admitted it and told me it was your fault, I don't know if I can live with you anymore. I don't know if this relationship is going to work. And you're like, whoa, where's the forgiveness? Where's the... And you're like, yeah, okay, it was my fault I got fired from that job, but is that any reason to leave me? Like, what the narcissist does doesn't make sense. And it's all based on conditions. They reflect your love back to you. That's what you're feeling. Doesn't your love feel good? Absolutely. So why not continue to give it to yourself? Distance your feelings from the narcissist. And that's hard to do. So you distance your contact with the narcissist in order to allow your feelings to heal. It is very difficult when you're in a relationship with the narcissist to heal from that particular narcissist's pain while you're still in love with them, while you still are in a relationship with them. Now, the narcissist may let you go, they may discard you, but ultimately it's you who sets yourself free from them. And don't be surprised when you are fully healed, they'll come back. They can sense it. They can sense when you've detached yourself from them. They will come back and they will hoover you by saying, oh, do you remember? It's almost our, this month would be our 25-year anniversary. Remember when you took me to that pond and you made that picnic lunch for us? Oh, I remember the wine spilt all over the napkins, and oh, that was such a day, and we walked away and I was all sticky, and you know, you allowed me to wear your gloves because my hands were so sticky, and oh, that was just such a special moment. And then here you are, oh yeah, I can't believe they remembered that. Oh my gosh, that meant so much to me. And so because they're bringing it up, you assume it meant so much to them. And so then you get hooked and they pull you in. Hey, maybe, you know, this may not mean anything and it doesn't have to mean anything, but would you like to go for drinks on our 25th anniversary just for old time's sake? You know, we can just meet at the local pub and just have a drink or two, or, go for dinner or whatever. It's you decide. It's okay. I just thought it would be fun. It doesn't have to mean anything. Oh boy, look out for that. Oh boy. The minute you say yes, the minute you entertain that, they know that they're in, like Flynn. Yep. Oh my gosh. So how you deal with the narcissist is important, because how you deal with them is exactly how you deal with yourself. Instead of giving the narcissist all your attention, make a choice and give yourself more attention than you give the narcissist. What would that look like? The narcissist calls you up and says, hey, let's go on a date, or let's go for a bike ride. Let's go do something together on the weekend. And you're like, no, thank you. No, why not? I got a date with myself. What the hell are you talking about? Doesn't matter. I'm just spending time with myself. Well, what are you going to do? Don't tell them, because they'll show up. I don't know yet, but I'm taking a sabbatical. I'm taking some personal time for me, so I won't be around. And go and do it. Go for a walk. Go exercise. Go for a drive. Go do something different that you've always wanted to do but never could. If you don't have the money, go do something that doesn't cost much money or no money at all. Just go do something fun. Just go take some time and do what you want to do, and spend some time with you, some quality time with you. I like going and sitting near a body of water, and walking through trees, a nice park, and I just go and sit near a body of water, and I just look at the water, and I just take God with me, and I start asking God questions about me and about life. And I have my notepad and I write it all down. And I just allow God to share himself with me, but also share, his perspective of me, his knowing of me. I allow him to share that with me. And that helps me to get to know me from his perspective, because his word is ultimate, right? His truth is ultimate. So if he says that, like he wrote me a love letter a long time ago, over, 20 years ago? It was when I was dealing with the betrayal of my mother-in-law, and I just called out and I was sobbing. I was like, God, why do you love me? And I just happened to have a pen and paper on the bed, because I write wherever I am, and I just, something in me prompted me to pick up that pen, and I wrote down what I felt God was saying to me, and he wrote me a love letter. And he said, I love you not for who you are. I love you for who you are to become. So he saw the potential in me, and he knows my potential. So it was like, okay, so you know who I really am then. If you see my potential, you see who I'm going to become, that's who you love. Because there's no time with you, that I am already who I am, according to you, but I just have to catch up. So you love me from the beginning to the end of my life. You love me. And I've never thought of it that way before. Yeah. That really helps me. Oh my gosh, that really helps me. I need to write that down. Just give me a sec here. I need to write that down. Just something for me to contemplate after we get off this live. Wow. I love you for who you are to become. That was the words that he said to me. And I never really got the gravity of it until just speaking with you guys right now. So thanks for allowing me to share that. In our lives, we've talked about that all we have is here and now. That God exists in here, right now, in this moment of time. And this moment of time has no quantity to it. There's no seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, decades, eons. It's eternal. And wow, God knows you. God knew you before you were born. Excuse me, you were a thought in God's mind. God has your life all planned out. He knows what you're going to do before you even know you're going to do it. And He loves you with an everlasting love. That's scripture. And in His mind, you already are that person He's created. You just have to catch up because you live in this realm of time. So time is what is needed for you to catch up and learn what you need to learn in order to live as how He created you to live. But because God exists in here and now, He sees you as who you always have been, as who you are. That's just mind-blowing. So I was thinking tonight, if you guys want to join me tonight at 10, tomorrow you guys got the elections going, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live. I will show up, but if you guys are busy with that, then that's fine. And there's supposed to be, trouble coming tomorrow and the next days, the rest of this week from the fallout of the election results. So I want to say, I will be praying for all of you. In fact, Jesus, please protect and guide everyone. Please oversee and protect and guide us all and help us to make the right decisions and the decisions that we need to make for you. And help us to see the truth for what it is, not what we want it to be. And help us to make the decisions based on truth, even though it hurts. Guide us and lead us and protect us under your wing, Lord Jesus. Amen. So if you guys want to, we can come together tonight at 10 and we can talk about anything. I just want to share my gratitude for you guys, my thanks. I love you guys. And sorry, I know, ugly crier, but it's times like this where the world is standing on a precipice, and there's so many people that want to see the darkness in this world. And I remember when I was with my then husband and I was homeschooling, and I was just finding lie after lie after lie after lie about everything. From Thanksgiving to other holidays to, residential schools in Canada, to the government, to our food system, to our agriculture, to our water systems. Everything is being lied about. The moon landing, everything is being lied about. And I would come to my husband and I would say, this and this and this, even our meat products are compromised. And he'd be like, Shannon, everything about you is negative. Why do you have to fixate on the negative? And I'm like, I know it's negative, but I just want to get at the truth. And I know these rabbit holes are dark, but I have to go through them if I want to live in the truth. If I want to decide, no, I don't want to drink tap water, I need to know what they're hiding from us and why it's harmful for us to drink tap water. If our meat sources are compromised, I want to know the negative so I can turn to the truth and make a healthy decision for myself and say, no, I won't eat meat that's compromised. Because why? Well, I know the truth. The truth can only set us free when we learn about the negatives and we make a decision, an informed decision. And so the world has been fixated so much on negative, negative, negative. And I myself included, over years and years and years of study about the negative things. But it's those negative things that has caused me to turn to God and seek His face and seek His counsel and live in positivity. The negative doesn't have to affect us if we do not allow it. And how we do not allow it is to just rejoice and know that our name is written in the Lamb's book, and use this time that we have left, however long it is, years, and decades left, to be the light that shines in the darkness, to help other people. This is the night before our lives change. This is kind of like the night before Christmas. But instead of waiting for Christmas, we're waiting for people to wake up, and we're going to have people in our lives come to us and say, dang it, I really believed this. I really believed it was going to go this way. I really believed life was going to go this way. What the hell happened? What's going on? And they're going to be so confused and afraid. Keep yourself safe. But also for those people who are coming to you for answers and for the truth, you got to be willing to give them the truth and be loving. It really doesn't matter if they disowned us, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. They're coming to us now, and they want answers too. And the answers have been hidden to them, from them. And some of those people, they will see the truth. The truth will be right in front of them, and they still will not believe it because their cognitive dissonance is cemented. So I would like to just open the live tonight just to share the love, just to share the gratitude, to share, how much you guys mean to me. I love you guys, and you guys are worthy. You guys are loved by God. He loves you so much. And, whatever happens tomorrow, we're still in it to win it. Whatever happens, whatever happens, God is in our lives. That doesn't change just because the political paradigm changes. Doesn't mean that God is gone. God is with us. He's in our hearts, and He's here to stay. He's here as long as you want Him to stay. So let's just come together tonight and just build each other up and share the blessings and pray for each other and just support each other tonight. What do you guys say? So I always look forward to these meetings too, Joe. And Joe says, it feels good to have support in these days of trouble. Absolutely, it does. Joe says, yes, Keith, I get blessed by coming to these lives as well. As we're all blessed, we're a blessing to each other. You guys are a blessing to me. I feel so blessed. Thank you so much. And Joe says, I gave her the truth today, but she called me a liar. Of course she is. And don't take that to heart. You're standing up for your truth, and your truth is not her truth. So yeah, when we see, that's the thing with narcissists, Joe, is that when you tell the truth, they believe it as a lie because they are opposite of us. A narcissist cannot tell the truth. And if they do tell the truth, it's because it benefits them. So is it really the truth? No. It's a manipulated truth. Truth does not manipulate. And the narcissist, they know the truth of who they are, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have to lie and mirror our kindness back to us in order to deceive us. So that in itself, they're lying against themselves. They've gaslit themselves. And how can you be authentic when you're always gaslighting yourself, leading yourself to believe that you are the truth teller and everybody else is the liar? It might be even, I'm going to put it to you this way, Joe, that if you're struggling, if you're struggling with somebody who does not want to believe your truth and does not want to understand where you're coming from, that in itself is toxic. And now if they won't listen to you, you have an obligation to yourself to distance yourself from them and you cannot reason with a narcissist. I know, I've tried. One person, it was like 4 or 5 hours just trying to reason with them, and I had proof in my hand and it still didn't work. And with narcissists, you can have proof and they still will not back down. The fight for them is they want you to give up. They want you to give up the fight and give in. They want you to step over your boundary and do for them what they want you to do. There's no compromise with them. They cannot meet you halfway. With them, it's all or nothing. And if they won't listen to you after, maybe you've tried to have this discussion 5 ways to Sunday, where you've tried to find different ways to say the same thing, but in a nice way, and try to not hurt their feelings, and they're still not getting it, well, then it's just, okay, I've said my piece. And you have to just stop calling them so much, or stop visiting them so much, and stop answering their phone calls, stop answering their texts, stop, block them on Facebook, block them on social circles. Just slowly distance yourself from them. If you're able, go no contact. But if you're unable, then it's got to be a slow, you got to wean yourself off. And how you do that is to stop talking to them. Stop reasoning with them, because all that is doing is hurting you. You now are hurting yourself. Because you know you cannot reason with a narcissist. You know that they will not see reason. It's like beating a dead horse, pardon the expression. Get up, get up, get up, get up. No. The narcissist is not going to change. She's not hedging on her decision. She wants you to hedge on your decision. And you've made up your mind. So you're at a stalemate, an impasse, and you have to say to this person, I'm going to have to agree to disagree. There's no resolution on this, so you go your way, I'll go my way. Have a nice life. And get on with your life. And what that looks like for you is to celebrate the win that you didn't get caught back up into that whirlwind of terror. Guaranteed, and I'm guaranteed that, okay, and this is speaking to everybody, okay? Anybody who wants you to do something against your will. And we're not talking about, something of an intimate thing. We're talking about if you have a moral boundary, I'll use myself for example. My moral boundary is I won't eat meat. And I've come across many narcissists who eat meat and they expect me to eat meat. And I'm like, no, I won't eat meat. Why not? Well, and I share my views with them, and it goes in one ear and out the other. And they'll expect me to go grocery shopping for them and buy the meat. And I'm like, no, you buy your own meat. I'm sorry, I don't eat meat. I that goes against and they don't understand. Well, why don't you eat meat? I already told you. Well, I think it's dumb that you don't eat. Well, I'm not judging you, so don't judge me. And it's a barrier. And they will try to get me to eat meat. Like, they will try and try and try and try. And I reason with them and reason with. So now I just have to, no, I won't date somebody who's a meat eater now. I can't. Because it just doesn't work. So that's a change that I've had to make. I've had to make the sacrifice and kind of pigeonhole myself. But I'm not dating now anyways. But, that's, if I were to date again, it would be that I would have to date a vegetarian. So my circle of potential dates has just gotten smaller, but that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make for me because I love myself. I'm not going to put somebody else above my moral standpoint. I have to live with myself at the end of the day. So the decision that you guys have to make when it comes to the narcissist, where they say, you have to do this or else, or, I can't live like that, and you have to do what I want, and you know what? You have to live with your morality. The narcissist is not responsible and doesn't have to take on the consequence for your immoral actions. That's on you. You have to live with yourself at the end of the day. And if you're faced to make a moral decision, you step over the line and you choose the narcissist over your morality, you will blame yourself forevermore. I guarantee it. That's just another guilt that you have to hurdle over. And you don't want to be living with that kind of guilt. And Joe, you know what I mean. So, hi, XOXO. Nice to see you. Welcome. And they say he won't pay child support, but comes over every weekend to get my son while pulling up with his new girlfriend in a new Porsche. Why do I have to deal, or how? Is it possible you can take him to court? Aw, thank you, Joe. Okay, I don't know where you are, but in Canada, even if you go on social services like welfare automatically will go after your ex for child support. You won't have a say in it. So that may be one way. Go talk to wherever you are. I'm sure even just talking to welfare, or what we call social services, just talking to somebody about this and getting a professional opinion may just start the ball rolling. They go after child support based on the income bracket and how many kids you have. So they're going to want to see his taxes. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going by with what I've experienced myself. So if he depending on when the divorce was and how many years or how many months hasn't been paying child support, it will catch up with him. The courts take this seriously. It's not light at all. And sometimes some states in the United States actually go beyond the cutoff age of 18 years. It's like up until the child is like 22, or even if the child is like 25 and going through college, the parent is still responsible for providing money for the child until they're done their schooling. So it's in your best interest to go and seek out advice. Maybe you can go and talk to legal aid if that's what you have in your area, or you can see if you can talk to a lawyer over the phone. And a lot of these lawyers now allow you to have like a half an hour of free consultation over the phone. So there's such thing as on the internet, dial-a-law. I don't know if that's, I know that's here in Canada, dial-a-law. So you might be able to find something like that on the internet that provides information for free. And it's just a generalization, but it will give you enough information for you to start the process of fighting this and taking them to court and going through legal avenues to get some money. So, and yeah, don't tell him that you're doing this, because then he'll hide his assets. Just don't say anything. So that's all I can give you. So, and if he asks, just play dumb. Don't say a word. Just change the subject, or just say, I know nothing about that right now. So just don't give him any information if he asks. So yeah, hope that helps you. God bless you. May God help you. So I know it's tough. It's really tough. So, but you're gonna get through it. You will. Yeah, he may be trying to act broke, but once the court will want to see his taxes, and if he hasn't done his taxes, he's gonna have to do them, and yeah, so it's not a process that will give you money right away, but you will get something. And the courts will make sure that this is regular, because you can, here in Canada, you can either have the courts, have the money go through the courts, where he has to send a check to, social services or wherever the authorities, and the authorities cut you a check, and so it's a guaranteed money all the time. And if it is where he gives you a check every month or whatever it is, and if he lapses, all you have to do is make a phone call and say, I didn't receive a check, today. It was supposed to come in the mail and it hasn't yet. So, so the authorities are really good on that. Thanks, Joe. Joe says, this group has empathy. Keep coming back. It's much worthwhile. Yeah, you guys are huge. Oh, you guys just ooze the love. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I guess that is my time for now. And if you guys want to, I will be back here at 10 and we can just hang together. If that's all right, I'm going to go grab some lunch. And thanks for the likes. And come back here at 10 and we can just talk about whatever is on your mind, and just share the love and pray, and just hold each other in our prayers and in our hearts, to just for good things to come for tomorrow and the rest of our years. We're in a political upheaval worldwide, and we just need some comfort, right? So just because whatever happens tomorrow doesn't mean that God has left us. God is with us always. So let's just offer each other support tonight. So with that said, please enjoy your afternoon. Please enjoy your afternoon. Make it a good one. Make it count. Make it great. And just remember to talk to yourself. Not in your head, but use your own voice. I am worthy. I am love. I am good. I am awesome. I am tenacious. I am strong. I'm healthy. I am loved. Just start talking and using your voice so your ears can hear you, and you can muddle that in your heart, because what comes out of your heart comes out of your mouth. And once you start speaking to yourself, not just in your mind, but with your audible voice, I'm sure good things are to come. Blessings. See you later on tonight.